Here's a super cool tidbit about making phrases, especially when you have long notes in the melody. In this bar, in bar 5, I mentioned to leave the left hand out of it, right? Because the risk with that bar is, if we think about going to the F, I could have left that drawn on there. If we think about going to that point and then coming back, if we do that with both hands, we're going to bring out this note in the left hand too much. And all of a sudden that's distracting and it's pulling us away from the melody. When we really want the left hand in this case, there's enough melodic content going on here that we want the left hand to stay doing its own thing. We want it to just remain nice and calm and steady. The rhythm of it alone, the 8th note that leads us into the next bar, that rhythm's going to take care of the little bit of push to get us into the next bar. We don't need to do anything dynamically. Let that happen with the right hand. There it is. That was nice. But now let's look at the next line down. Let's look at measure 9. In measure 9, we have this long note that we now talked about crescendoing, right? Like that. Well, everybody that plays the piano knows that once you park on a note, once the note is played, it's forever dying away. It's going away. We can't do anything about it. The hammer hits the string. There's nothing else to be done, right? Or is there? Can we trick people into thinking that this note is actually growing? Yes, we actually can. We can give the illusion that the phrase is growing, that the melody is growing, even though it's just been a single note played. How do we do that? With the left hand, with these things right here. So now let's say we want this shape that crescendos. Of course, if we play the left hand the way we talked about in measure 5, very calmly, well, the melody's not going to grow anywhere. Everything is calm. And there's nowhere to go except kind of down because everything's dying away. If we're using our ears and listening and responding to what we're doing, we can't make this choice. We can't make the choice to get louder. But what if we shift our thinking and say, well, now, okay, let's make the left hand a little bit more of a part of what's going on. We can do this. The left hand can grow. And then come back. And if we do that, if we make the left hand have a crescendo, and then keep it going, and then die away, like that, we can actually give the impression that the melody is doing that. We can do the same thing here. If we really want the first long B flat to feel like it crescendos to the next one, which is a little different than what we talked about, but if we want that feeling, the left hand can take over making that kind of movement. The left hand can be in charge of making that growth and this new shape happen. That's a really cool thing. And that's something, again, that you can apply all over the place. Anytime we have really long notes in one hand, and if the other hand is busier, there's a great opportunity to use the busier hand, or the hand that has more notes, to help shape the dynamic of the long notes that we have that we can't do anything with any longer. We can't take a half note and crescendo it by itself. We can't take a whole note and crescendo it by itself, but we can use the notes around to give an impression that something else is happening.